Hey there, Hollywood Times listeners. Judy Shields here. Today we welcome back and so excited to introduce Lacy J Dalton. Hey, Lacy J, how you doing?
Hey, Judy, I'm happier now talking to you.
What's going
Much
on?
better.
What's going on with
Oh,
you?
well, I just wanted to call and thank you for premiering the 35th anniversary. We're celebrating the 35th anniversary of that big song I had called Black Coffee. Um, that was such a big hit all over the world. It was actually a dance hit in most countries, like a number one dance hit. I never knew that until years later, and people from other countries were, oh yeah, it was number one over here. We danced to it for months. But the thing was, it got pirated in Europe. The record
Oh,
company, I think, never distributed in Europe, so it was pirated all over Europe and South America and Australia and all these places. But it was that kind of a song, and I'm glad it got out because I love the writers of the song. They were good friends of mine, Hillary Kanter, and of course the great Even Stevens. And even, I don't know if you're aware of him, but he wrote and co-wrote a lot of the huge hits that Eddie Rabbitt had, like "Love a Rainy Night" and "In Love with a Beautiful Woman" and "Driving My Life Away," and some of those really great 70s, 80s. I think they were the 80s hits for Eddie Rabbitt that pretty much made his career. And then he wrote "Crazy in Love" for Kenny Rogers.
no.
He can actually paper his house with awards, some million airplay awards from BMI. But he's a good friend, and it always does my heart good. I can't really do a show without singing that song, and it's somewhere because people get really disappointed.
Yeah, folks, if you haven't heard it, you've got to. We'll put a link up for that, and especially that we're going to be premiering this video that you made. Oh my goodness, did I laugh and I had to watch it over and over because it was just so
I have to
funny.
tell you that could have been the most boring background in the on the face of the earth, and we actually made that video as a joke.
Did
We
you?
made it, yeah, to make Scott, our publicist, laugh. And he loved it so much. He says, "I gotta find somebody with a sense of humor." And when they told me it was you, I was thrilled. I thought, "Oh, she'll get this. She'll get what we were doing." We just did it up against some canvas
Yeah.
hanging, you know.
Oh, I'm telling you, your facial expression at the end is just hilarious. I'm like, that's why I had to play it. I go, what's her eyes doing? What is she? What her body language is awesome. Can
Well, we had a lot of fun with it. Um, for those of your listeners who will not see the video, I went back to be inducted into the International Hall of Fame when David Frizzell was there. He was hosting and introducing me, and we had our picture taken afterwards. And I had tried very hard to wear this particular T-shirt during the event back in Pigeon Forge, and it said "Not Dead Yet." It's a black T-shirt that says "Not Dead Yet." But my friend, who is passed now, but who took care of Dolly Parton's business, everything for her 21 years, a woman named Ira Parker came down to help me with the event, and she was scandalized. And she said, "Lacy, for once in your life, would you please? These people are trying to honor you. You're not wearing that T-shirt. I refuse. I'll rip it off your back. Take that off. Put on something decent." So we did the show. And, we had a really nice show, got the award and everything. And after the show, I immediately put on the "Not Dead Yet" T-shirt and underneath my tuxedo-ish jacket. And David and I went out to get a picture of each other. We love each other. He's like my brother. And so we're hugging each other. And the "Not Dead Yet" T-shirt is very apparent. I'm wearing it. You can see it says "Not Dead Yet." And we got hundreds and hundreds of hits on the picture. Not one of those hits was for me or David. It was everybody wanting the "Not Dead Yet." Where do I get the "Not Dead Yet" T-shirt? But anyway, that's why we wore it on the video for Black Coffee, because it is the 35th anniversary of that song. Who knows? Who can tell when 35 years has passed? It's like life
right?
really. I think 9/11 was like 10 years ago. What is it,
Yeah.
25, 30?
Yeah, right. And I mean, it's like COVID was 5 years ago, and who would have thought that? I mean, I read this where it was released in March of 1990, and I went, wait a minute, my baby son was born in 1990. I said, he's 35 this year, going to be 35 this year. Wow.
I know. I know. I mean, you just can't I just can't believe the passage of time. And I remember old people used to say to me, you know, when you get older, time just goes by faster. It just goes by faster. I thought that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Why do they say that? Why do people say, now I know?
I know, isn't it?
Now I've become them. You know?
What, like it's 35 years ago, but what was it like with that song? Like you said, it took off. Like when you first heard it, do you remember where you were or how that came to you?
Yes, I remember. Well, it didn't come to me. I didn't write it. It was
Right,
written
right. I mean, when you heard it the first time.
Well, they came. Hillary Kanter and even Stevens were my good friends. We've been writing together. We're good friends. We used to vacation together, do a lot of stuff in Nashville, and he even is one of the top songwriters who's ever been in Nashville. He's had so many big hits, and I think I mentioned to you before that he co-wrote with Eddie Rabbitt, Driving My Life Away, Love a Rainy Night, In Love with a Beautiful Woman, and
wow.
Later on he had a big hit for Kenny Rogers, Crazy in Love. And that was recorded by a bunch of other people too. I mean, he's had huge. I always say that even could wallpaper his house in Million Airplay Awards for BMI. So when he came to me and told me, he said, I got a song for you. It's different for you. It's gonna make your career. It is absolutely a song that's gonna make it. And I heard it and I said, that is a perfect song for Roseanne Cash.
Oh.
I said that really sounds like the kind of thing she does, and I love it. And he said, well, it's a perfect song for you, and you're going to do it because it's going to be a big hit. And it was, but I was with a record company, Capitol Universal, I think at the time, with Jimmy Bowen. And Jimmy Bowen, I think he rescued me from CBS Records. I had been trying to get off that label ever since my first producer retired from it or backed off from it. And the new guy who took over was not somebody I could get along with at all. I did not know a minor chord from a major chord, just a real, everybody hated this guy. He's not with us any longer, and I won't mention his name. But I finally said I wouldn't record for him. He said, well, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to compete with you. I'm just going to hold you here till you die. And I said, you will be selling shoes back in Cincinnati, and I will still be making music. And he threw me out of his office at that time. That was the end of that. And so a few years later, I just begged Jimmy Bowen at Capitol to sign me. I said, please, I've been sitting here at the top of my career. I had to stop recording, and for 4 years. And, I still have what it takes. And he said, actually, you don't. You're a dinosaur. But I'm gonna sign you anyway. So he signed me, but then we just kept making. He had these little boutique record companies like Capitol Universal and Universal Nashville and all these little things that he was the president of, one after the other. We would make a record. Nobody would ever hear it. He would leave the label, become the president of some other label, take me with him. He took me with him like 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
And pretty soon I felt like I was having stillbirths. But I did have one good record with him, and that was the one that had Black Coffee. And he didn't believe in the song, and he thought I was too old, and I was 46 years old, over the hill. She's not cute enough. I mean, they just did all this stuff. And he wouldn't give me a video for the song. But James Stroud, who was my co-producer at the time and somebody that I very much liked, and I still do, I heard him at some point. I went up to the office to see what was going on, to try to talk Bowen into giving me a video. And I heard Stroud saying, what is wrong with you, old man? Have you gone deaf? Give this woman a video. So he finally did. He gave me this pittance. He gave me, the people were doing $20,000 and $30,000 videos. He gave me $7,500. But the company that made the first video for Black Coffee really loved the song, and they loved my singing. So they did a fabulous video. And that video, the first couple of weeks that Black Coffee song was out, it outsold Michael Bolton and Madonna, whose records released at the same time. They were pop records. But they didn't take me. They would not push my career pop because, after all, I was too old and I was a dinosaur. So that is my story. That is what record companies can do to you if you have weak management. And at the time, I had pretty weak management, and my fault. But I just business. It's not that I don't understand business or I'm not good at it. I tend to want to be with people who are human beings.
Yes, and not robots.
I don't do too well with the velociraptors that are actually really good at business and heartless and cruel. And
Yeah.
I can't really relate to those people. So, they're the people that really they do make the waves and they do cut through. But I do think they're probably lizard people from another planet.
So you've been independent for a while, haven't you?
I think 25 years or something.
Wow.
It was so wonderful. The Josie Awards a couple of years ago gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award for being an independent artist, and that meant something to me.
Yeah.
Because it is just not, I mean, most people, the reason I have the Not Dead Yet t-shirt is twice Japan has announced my demise. Japan, Lacy J Dalton has died. But the bottom line is most people do not even know that, and a lot of people don't even know who I am now. But which is a little disconcerting.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is I've had an actually wonderful life, and it's so great to be free to say whatever you want to say on a record. I released a record in a project in August called For the Black Sheep.
Yes.
And on that project, I got to say exactly the things I want to say to people.
Yes.
And I'm very outspoken about certain things. I just found out that Project 2025 has a paragraph that will allow the Bureau of Land Management to euthanize or slaughter all the wild horses and burros in the United States. This is something that I that will not stand.
Yes.
I will not listen to that and think that's a good idea.
Nope, that's not.
We built our civilization on the backs of these animals.
Exactly, and we still do. We should be doing more of it.
People love them.
Yes.
80% of the people in the United States want the preservation and protection for the wild horses. 80%. 80% of us don't agree on anything else except breathing.
Yes.
The American people will not tolerate that, I am certain.
Oh, 100%.
They may tolerate a lot of other stuff that wool gets pulled over their eyes, but they're not going to tolerate that. They've stood up for the horses in 1971. Congress got more letters about the wild horses from the school children in the United States than any other issue except for Vietnam, war in Vietnam. And they passed the Wild Horses and Burros. The American people insisted that they pass the Wild Horses and Burros Protection Act of 1971, which gave tremendous protections. The horses were to be the main wildlife on 55 million acres.
Yes.
That the American people gave them. Of course, that's all been reduced now, and people love them. People love to see them. It's incredible to see a herd of wild horses in the wild, whether they're just grazing or whether they're running across the landscape. Here in Nevada, we have a lot of them. We have more of them than any other state. It's why I moved to Nevada, because I loved them. And I knew if they could be wild and free here, maybe I could too.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Thank you for always looking out for those critters, because, they're our history.
You can only do what you can do.
Yeah. So that's why people like you write music and write songs that bring us out of this and bring us back to reality. So, we're...
We hope we're doing that. That's what we try to do. I remember songs by Woody Guthrie.
Oh, yeah.
And, this guitar is a machine, an anti-fascist machine. Written on the guitar, something very like that.
Yeah,
And you remember Bob Dylan?
Oh, yeah.
In the 70s, he united us all.
Yep.
To fight against the abomination of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, so songs can be very powerful, so,
They can. They can.
About, your tour. You got a tour coming up, I see here. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm going to Nashville, and I'm really excited to go back and do the Country for a Cause again, because I get to see I love doing it. We just came back from one of these country cruises.
Oh, how was that?
And I love to do. Well, I'm not very good at cruising because I have a very bad problem with motion sickness,
Oh boy,
seasickness.
yeah.
So I have to take stuff, and I don't do very well. I mean, I tried the pressure bands around my wrist. I tried Dramamine. I tried, there are two or three different uh, seasickness things, but I can't really manage most of them. But to go and see all my friends that I never get to see from Nashville,
Yeah.
it's absolutely worth it. You know, I just have so many friends. I saw Mo Bandy, and I saw, um, I saw Jimmy Fortune and TG and Shelley, and I mean Kelly, and they're just all really great people.
Yeah, aren't they?
And so that Country for Cause, all those same people, or many of those same people, will, Lee Greenwood, and Chapel Hart,
Yeah.
these wonderful, wonderful performers, and I don't get to see them because I'm out here all the time.
Yeah.
I mostly stay out on the West Coast, and that's what was actually always my dream, to work in the West, because I love the country so much out here.
So beautiful.
Oregon, Washington, Idaho,
Mm-hmm.
Montana, Wyoming, in California. I love Northern California. I think is the most beautiful place on earth.
Yes, it is.
I mean, just beautiful, and a lot of California, but with all the overpopulation there now, I don't think I could live there anymore. But
Yeah.
I sure did think it was the most beautiful place in the world, and I love New Mexico and Arizona.
Yes.
They're all places that I enjoy being, and so when I left the record companies, I thought, I don't really want to travel really long ways back east, where all the work is, really. I want to try to stay out west, and I've managed to do that for 25 years, and had a very wonderful life because of it. So
Yeah.
this is nice, and a 35th anniversary. This is just the way we're celebrating it. It was such a big song for me, and still is. If I don't sing it in a show, people get really disappointed. You didn't do Black Coffee. Why didn't you do Black Coffee? Well, I always do it now, because that happened 2 or 3 times, and I went, okay, I get it. I want to hear this song.
Well,
And I like this song. The song's fun to sing.
Yeah.
It's an easy song to sing, and it's a fun song, and I love the people who wrote it. It's just a nice, wonderful memory for me, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of singing it.
It's like when we order coffee. You want it black? Yeah, let's have some black coffee. And there it is. There's your song.
Yep.
Pops in your head.
Do you drink coffee?
I'm drinking some black coffee right now.
Oh, me too.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Well, that's
when
good.
You give up everything else, you can still have some coffee. People will pretty much leave you alone.
Yeah.
My son doesn't, but my son thinks coffee it's acidic. It's going to make your body acidic.
You know what? I mean, I'm not drinking 5 cups a day. I drink, like, my 1 cup gets warm before I realize it, but it's just that taste, and I like it. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't make me, even if I drink it at night, I'm not one of those people that gets, it doesn't do anything, like make you hyper or anything. So I just like what
it doesn't do that to me either.
Yeah.
I can drink a cup of coffee and go right to sleep.
Yep. Exactly. So I just like the smell and the taste of it. So some people go crazy and they act like they gotta have it and they're so addicted to it or something.
Well, I think I am addicted to it because I stayed overnight with some friends. They have a beautiful wine cellar up at Lake Tahoe.
Wow.
In their home, and I stayed with them. And the next morning, I had this really bad headache, and I drank a cup of coffee, and I thought, well, the coffee, I'll be fine. Well, I stayed for a couple days. And I finally asked my friend Gina, I said, Gina, tell me, do you use decaf coffee here? She said, well, yes, we do. I said, I wonder. I said, I have the worst headache. So I went out to Starbucks and got a cup of coffee, and the headache vanished immediately. But it was a pretty severe headache.
Isn't that
so
something?
I guess I am addicted.
Well, in a good way, though, so you don't have a migraine. Oh, who wants those?
That's right. That's right.
So I'll definitely, I'm going to put up the link for your lacyjdalton.org so that we can all find your, for The Black Sheep, which is an amazing album. And the Hollywood Times got to actually premiere a couple of your songs, which is One Thing Worth Calling Your Own. That was pretty cool. And Standing Knee Deep. So I've been honored to premiere you. Yes. Premiere your songs.
Well, thank you. I didn't know that, Judy.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did I know that? I might have known that.
You
but,
probably did, but yeah.
I'm so forgetful now. I mean, I'm lucky if I remember to turn the heat on.
Just remember what your shirt says. No disrespect, but you need to send one of those to Dick Van Dyke and to Willie Nelson. I mean, it's amazing. We just want them to last forever, And some people say, "Oh, they're still alive." Don't say that about folks, So.
Well, it's wonderful. I think Willie should be I actually wrote this on the back of one of his. The record company asked me to write some liner notes.
Yeah.
And I said I think he should be called a national treasure and never have to pay taxes again as long as he lives.
Exactly. We'll vote for that. Oh, it's amazing.
Anyway,
well, it's
I don't know which album that was. I can't remember which album that was on, but I remember them asking me for a quote, and I said that's my quote.
And we can talk about it. How's that?
Thank you, and I'll be interested to meet your guy. I hope I hope this is a really nice thing for you.
Yeah.
And Judy, Black Coffee is such an easy song to sing, and such a pleasing song for so many people. So many people love it. I have to keep it in the show always.
Well, I can agree with that.
Enough?
Yes, I can agree with that. That's perfect. Look forward to seeing you for sure.
All right. Well, please look us up, and I'd love to meet Stan.
Okay, yeah, and we'll see you in June. Can't wait.
All right. Adios, my friend.
All right, you take care. Bye.
All right. Bye.